The following is brought to you by Bleacher Report. If you guys want to check out my live post-game reaction show, make sure to have the Bleacher Report app downloaded and ready to fire up right after the game. You'll find me in the Chargers section. Bolt up.
Kia ora, Bolt fam. Kia ora, NFL fans around the world. Kia ora to all the fans here in Bleacher Report. This is the director. We're here for our post-game live reaction to the Chargers-Raiders action here in Week 4. Big game, rivalry game, one that the Chargers absolutely had to win. Going now 2-2 into their bye week with a lot of injuries that they got to figure out now. So winning this game, absolutely so important. First off, shout out to everybody in the chat here, man. Are you guys reading me? Are we good to go? Are we good to go on this win, this victory lap around the Chargers and what they accomplished today with the Vegas Raiders on the other side? Or we should call them, we can call them Farva the entire stream before the game. The Raiders and their rookie quarterback going there almost pull off a little bit of victory story behind that. That could have been pretty crazy in the fourth quarter. Of course, it wouldn't be a Chargers game without the heart attacks in the fourth quarter. But the Chargers figure out a way to just hang in there just a little bit longer behind a pick from Asante Samuel Jr. and walk out victorious in this one. My goodness, what a game we have to dissect today. One that I think the defense especially stepped up in. Defense looking very, very nice in terms of having to make some big plays today, off especially the back of Khalil Mack, who was one sack away from tying the all-time record of sacks in a single game held by some player on the Chiefs back in the 90s at 7. Could have broken it with an additional one there. But we're going to go over all of the action in today's game and give you guys a little bit of a preview as what do the Chargers need to do going into the bye week, as well as coming out versus the Cowboys the following week, the Kellen Moore previous team, which should definitely be very, very exciting. So let's go ahead and get you guys over on the Bleacher Report app here. Let's actually grab this side. There we go. And the entire screen here. Perfect, director. I think we're good. Hey, there we go. All right, Chargers are going to win this one 24-17. Chargers with a pretty sizable lead going into the half. And of course, in Chargers fashion, we just had to have the heart attacks all over the fourth quarter, all over the second half, in which we do need to figure that out, man. No points by the Chargers scored in the second half. Are you kidding me? Now, a lot of that did come off the back of some craziness. Of course, we had the Justin Herbert injury, which Chargers fans around the world, everybody was holding their breath. I was holding my breath. When you see something like that, the world stops for a minute and you wonder, has the season just ended? Lo and behold, it looked like maybe Justin Herbert got his hand stuck on a helmet or something like that. Could have got cut. Maybe he needed stitches. We don't know the extent of the injury quite yet, but the Chargers behind a patchwork, left hand of Justin Herbert weren't able to do much in the fourth quarter. Previous that, we do need to see a little bit more from Kellen Moore in putting this game away. One of the biggest things that I loved about the potential of Kellen Moore and Justin Herbert was the possibility of running up the score. What do we say on the live stream all the time? Step on their throats. Be relentless. Keep your foot on the gas. And that's because all of us Chargers fans are very weary of what can happen all of a sudden at the end of a game. You're up 2 scores, you're up 3 scores, all of a sudden things shrink. The lead shrinks and disaster starts, unfolding in front of you. We're all used to seeing that. That's why when grabbing offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, I was like, man, it's finally time to start, hitting the gas, pushing that pedal all the way down to the metal and running up the score. Would have loved to see that this week. Would have loved to see any points in the second half this week. But in this case, the Chargers able to find a way to maneuver around a lot of the injuries, maneuver around a lot of the nonsense that we saw in terms of players, their availability, and find a way to win anyway. So that's something that the Chargers are going to have to figure out. They're going to have to sort that out during the bye week. You're going to have to be able to put up points throughout the entirety of the game. Outside of that, though, I saw a very nice defensive performance from the team so far this year with behind Brandon Staley. A couple of hiccups here and there, but my word, did we unleash the beast of Khalil Mack. Let's go ahead and start things off here in our recap by hitting the stats here on Bleacher Report, starting with the Chargers on defense. A lot of times we like to start on offense. Let's go ahead and scroll all the way down here at defense to start things off. My word, man. 6 sacks for Khalil Mack. Like we said before, 1 sack away from tying the all-time record That would have been absolutely fantastic. Instead, though, 6 sacks is going to be one of the best performances you're going to see all year long. Khalil Mack, we knew it. If you guys watch my channel, you guys see some of the content out there. In the prediction, we said, hey, man, you guys remember the first game versus the Vegas Raiders last season? Chargers and Khalil Mack went absolutely ham versus Derek Carr back then and the Raiders. I think he logged 3 sacks in that game. In his follow-up season, this man went out there and put up 6 sacks versus who we call Aiden O'Connell. This guy absolutely welcome to the NFL experience in his first start of his young career. Definitely almost came up with a crazy storyline there at the end of the fourth quarter, but behind the back of Khalil Mack and that effort of 6 sacks, the Raiders just didn't seem to have enough momentum built to catch the Chargers in the end. It almost came true, but the Chargers and behind that effort certainly did help. Not to mention, you got the 2 forced fumbles behind Khalil Mack as well, which is absolutely insane. I do feel like, yes, Aiden did help us a little bit in that category. If you guys do remember, the tuck rule got mentioned a little bit because the first one, I think he was trying to reel it in, trying to tuck it back in. He drops it, and the Chargers come up with it. Khalil Mack, I think, was credited for that one. And then again, I think he tried to wind up. He hit Khalil Mack. That forced another fumble. Khalil Mack monstered, and on top of that, he also had the pass defended. And this one was up against the wire. This was up in the very last part of the game where the Chargers needed a stop. This dude, absolutely, if you're talking game ball, if you're talking the biggest impact player of the week, it absolutely, in my opinion, was Khalil Mack. When we look back as Chargers fans, hey, man, there was a year that we brought in Khalil Mack. It was absolutely fantastic. A lot of us excited. Maybe it didn't quite start living up to expectations until week 4 of the 2023 season. As a Chargers fan, growing old, hopefully raising my Chargers fan son, I'm going to say, hey, man, hey, there was this day back in 2023 where, man, by Khalil Mack, you'll see his jersey in my closet. That man put up 6 sacks right before my eyes versus the Raiders. It was absolutely a fantastic moment to be a Chargers fan. Big day for Khalil Mack, man. Huge props to him. Leads the team in sacks, tackles, forced fumbles, so many categories. We're going to remember. This was the Khalil Mack Chargers game to remember. Past that, Michael Davis may be struggling a little bit. Asante Samuel may be struggling a little bit despite the interception and pass defended. We were going up against Davante Adams, which I think in the first half, Chargers did a pretty good job at containing maybe even just the sack machine and Khalil, giving, Aiden O'Connell as little chances as possible to hit Davante Adams. Still, Davis and Samuel, in the end, Samuel makes up for it with a huge interception to seal the game for the Chargers. One big thing I want to ask you guys, though, which, correct me if I'm wrong, all right? On that interception, Asante Samuel, big play, right? Jumps the route, intercepts Aiden O'Connell, starts taking off the other way. In my brain, I'm like, hell yeah, I think we're about to see a pick 6, baby. Let's go. There's an O-lineman in front of him. I think Farva's out there somewhere, right, who might try and catch him as well. But let's go ahead and try and 6 this. Instead, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think I saw Brandon Staley step out, close to the sideline like, hey, bring it in. Put it down, right? Get down. We got the interception. All we're trying to do is get possession. And down goes Asante Samuel. Why is my question. Why would we do that? Why not try and 6 it and get it over with so we don't need the first down? We don't need the Josh Palmer big, H-bomb, 25-plus yard pass to seal the game. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me. Either way, great way for the Chargers to end that game on an H-bomb. A hobbled Justin Herbert. We've seen the quarterback position as Chargers fans with its injuries. The legendary Phillip Rivers, who battled through so many injuries. The infamous game where he played on his torn ACL. Now we got a Justin Herbert with that warrior spirit going out there, finishing out a game despite obvious discomfort, despite injury, and bringing the Chargers another victory. Absolutely insane. Another thing I wanted to point out here, which I'm actually seeing in the chat right now, we're looking at Asante Samuel. We're looking at Eric Kendricks, which, by the way, big respect to him and his family. Hopefully, the loss of his father, they're able to work that out and go through, as little pain as possible. Big love to Eric Kendricks and his fam. We're seeing Jasir Taylor out there. We're seeing Dean Marlowe, who was decent at safety, I'm going to say. The Chargers coming into this game had, no safeties. big ups to Dean Marlowe for coming in there and helping the Chargers out in that situation. We heard a lot of rumor about J.C. Jackson returning to the fold for the Chargers this week. No J.C. yet again. And I hate to say it, but we're 2-0 without J.C. And I'm not saying J.C.'s the problem. Okay, I'm not saying that J.C.'s the problem. But what's up? You know what I mean? Are we at that point where we're like, J.C.'s more of a liability? Where is J.C. Jackson? Wasn't present this game. Will the Chargers see him return at some point? Is he going to use that bye week to find out, what his role is with this team? Or is he going to start converting to safety? Some people were saying that. That's not something we haven't seen before. What is in the future for J.C. Jackson? I'm going to ask you guys that in the comments section below. You guys in the comments, you guys let me know what's up, right? What's up with J.C. Jackson? What's up with J.C. Jackson? Outside of that, look at this man right here, man. Tuli Tuipulotu, man. This dude, I don't have the stats in front of me, okay? I don't know the stats of the other rookie edge players out there. The rookie, super high round picks, right? That was flooded in this year's draft. The edge position was so potent. We end up getting Tuli Tuipulotu in the second round. This dude is absolutely on fire. Did he log a sack? Nobody got a tackle for loss. Tons of pressure, I'll say. With my eyeballs, I saw the pressure. With my eyeballs, I saw him, I think that tackle for loss. With my eyeballs, I saw him making a big impact pretty much every other snap, right? I don't have the stats in front of me, but Tuli has got to be leading the league in something when it comes to rookie edge defenders. I think he was leading in terms of pressures last week. He's got to be up in pace with it still this week. The Chargers got something very, very special in Tuli Tuipulotu. This guy's got a very bright future with the team going forward. When we drafted him, I saw the upside of a guy like Uchenna Nwosu, who's going to be very solid, grow into a very good player opposite Joey Bosa. Nah, man. Now I'm looking at Tuli, and I'm like, this dude could be featured going into the future, man. This guy has been absolutely fantastic. Outside of that, on defense, some notable plays here. Austin Johnson, I think, involved in that fumble with Khalil Mack. I think he was the one to pull that one in. Kenneth Murray had a decent day. The other safety, Raheem Lane, he played decent given the circumstance. Morgan Fox, Chris Rumpf. I think Chris Rumpf ended up having a sack. If not, he got a pressure or something. Defense, especially on the line, played very, very well. I was very happy with the defense on that end there. Now let's go ahead and move over to the offense a little bit. Is there anything else I'm missing from here? Davis, yeah. Okay, let's move over to the offense. And I think Davis is actually where I kind of want to start with this. Now, I think it's no secret. If you're a Chargers fan, you know that we're missing a very big piece of this offense, okay? We're missing Mike Williams, who's sidelined with a torn ACL. He will not be returning this season. There is indeed a chance that he doesn't return to the Chargers ever due to, honestly, maybe some money complications going into next season, which is a huge bummer. And if you're a Chargers fan, you'll also know that Mike Williams is a part of this team's DNA. So much so that we saw a couple of plays on offense where Mike Williams would have been the receiver you asked to try and accomplish some of these down. It was when the Chargers were backed up in their own end zone. It was something like second and very long, third and very long. We saw Justin Herbert target first Quentin Johnston on the sideline, who tried his best Mike Williams impression, trying to body out the defender, come down with a spectacular catch. It didn't happen. Greatly defended. Tough ball to throw at a rookie. I'm going to say that right now. Any receiver in the NFL is going to have a tough time coming down with that. But it's not Mike Williams. Mike Williams would have had a shot at that. Then we see it again. I think the very next play. It's another go route up the sideline. It's this time for Josh Palmer. Same result. I think this time it was a little too high. Mike Williams would have had a shot at that. Right? This team is going to miss Mike Williams. It's part of their DNA. And I think in this bye week, they're going to need to take some time to redefine their identity when it comes to that part of their passing game. Mike Williams has been part of that DNA for a long time, better part of a decade. Justin Herbert's had that since his rookie season. He's had that guy who comes up with the big plays in coverage, contested catch machine. He's gone. Now the Chargers are going to have to start leaning on other aspects of their personnel. We got Keenan Allen, who I was hoping to see a little bit more involved this week. That wasn't the case. But we also got other guys like Darius Davis, who I want to feature first. Darius Davis, 3 carries, which I love to see. It's very reminiscent of a Tyreek Hill rookie season where they got him involved in those jet sweeps a lot, right? Where you're handing it off to the wide receiver. He's going out there for big yards. At one point, he was just straight up lined up at H-back. He takes off for his long of 51 yards. Beautiful. Beautiful. More of that, please. And the reason that we're starting with Darius Davis is because I think the Chargers have a chance at redefining their identity without Mike Williams, past the Mike Williams era, in leaning on some of these speedier wide receivers, some of these speedier players. You got Darius Davis, right? The fastest Charger on this team. You got maybe outside of Jalen Guyton, but he'll be returning. Jalen Guyton's going to be returning any day now. I think he's eligible to return after this week. You got Quentin Johnston, who ran a very respectable 40. I think the Chargers, in moving away from the big playability of a Mike Williams, they need to start leaning a little bit more on this speed aspect of these guys behind Keenan Allen and Josh Palmer. That identity, I think, is going to take some time to develop. It's something that I don't think that they were planning on utilizing maybe this soon, with Mike Williams obviously wanting to be part of their offense for the entirety of the season. Maybe this bye week, which we thought was way too early at the top of the season, is coming at a perfect time, where the Chargers not only can get healthy, they could also find a way to redefine their offense a little bit without Mike Williams, which, again, guys, if you're a Chargers fan, you know how big of a part of the offense Mike Williams was. So the Chargers take this week 5 bye. They try and get healthy. Justin Herbert, which we'll talk about in a second with the injury, he'll have a chance to get healthy. We don't know what that was. Derwin James, who was absent this game. Alohi Gilman. Tons of Chargers on the injury report this week, as well as Joey Bosa. All these guys will have a chance to get healthy and suit up again. And again, we got very lucky that the bye week was as early as it was. I was hoping for something like week 8, week 9, something a little closer to the middle of the season. Chargers get lucky. It comes in week 5. We can try and get this season back on track. 2-2, very, very important. Now, the rest of the offense here. Justin Herbert, 167 and a touchdown and an interception. Don't let that fool you too much. Justin Herbert also had the 27 yards and 2 touchdowns here, so a total of 3 touchdowns and almost 200 yards. Decent day for Justin, especially considering that he was not playing to his full potential in the fourth quarter due to that injury. The biggest thing that I want to speculate with you guys on, I'm going to say this bluntly, I don't know what the injury is. I've been looking at Twitter. I've been looking everywhere for sources as to what happened to Justin Herbert, what happened to that hand. All we can do is speculate at this point. Our speculation on the live stream is that it got caught on a helmet and maybe it got cut. Maybe his hand got cut. And what we think that he was in the tent for was getting stitches. They were putting obviously the brace on there so he can't bend that finger and tear the stitches. That's our speculation, pure speculation. Either way, that's something that we need to monitor. Justin Herbert, that's the backbone of this team. Justin Herbert, who was absolutely fantastic today with 12 attempts, almost leading the team outside of Josh Kelly in rushing attempts. We need to make sure this kid's healthy. So keep an eye on that. We'll keep you posted on Twitter or wherever. I'm sure Bleacher Report will have more articles out on this. Got to keep an eye out for Justin Herbert. That's a big aspect that I think we'll be fine on, but we haven't heard any official word yet. Now, again, Justin Herbert, 12 carries. Yes, the passing could have been better. 13 for 24 could have been better. Not Justin Herbert's best day. Definitely not his worst. This is something that's kind of telling for me as well. You guys remember, maybe you don't because we're not all Cowboys fans out here. Dak Prescott, he had a couple of seasons under his belt before Kellen Moore entered the picture. I'm not sure how much he rushed before Kellen Moore, but afterwards, we started to see stuff like this, where Dak Prescott was like, hey, man, we got yards in front of us. Hey, man, there's a first down that I can pick up. Hey, man, the coverage is too good. We're going to maybe try and design something for the quarterback to take off. We're starting to see that with Justin Herbert. This may be part of the adjusting past the Mike Williams to try and find more ways to pick up the first downs. I think they're doing a good job of it. Despite Justin Herbert getting injured, which wasn't because of a rushing play, mind you, I think that's something the Chargers can start building off of again. So I don't know, man. I like it a lot. Let's keep moving here to the receivers. Now, this is where maybe we're getting a little bit anxious. 8 targets for 3 receptions. Not great for Josh Palmer. Not a great start, I should say. The Raiders aren't particularly good versus the pass. I was hoping to see a little bit more. Now, that last pass saved our bacon. We got ourselves a first down, huge play, long of 51, similar to Darius Davis. That saved our bacon. We win the game. We go on 2-2. But we got to see a little bit more production in terms of what Josh Palmer brings to the offense. As far as his skill set at receiver, I'm hoping to see a little bit more availability. We saw one really crisp, I think it was a hitch route or a curl or something, where he really absolutely stopped on a dime, turned around, got Justin Herbert the first down. That's what defines Josh Palmer to me. I didn't see that a lot this game. We need Josh Palmer to step up. He did great last year in lieu of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams going down. I need to see more Josh Palmer stepping into that version of himself, from the 2022 version of himself. He was great last year. We need more of that, especially with Mike gone. Keenan Allen went from 20 targets in week 3 to 5 in week 4. What's up? We know it works. We know Keenan's going to be the guy. Why only the 5 targets, especially in a game where we were hoping to see way more production from the offense as a whole? This is probably the best way to do that, him and Justin Herbert. Sure, he got the touchdown, 32 yards. Saved your fantasy days. I get it. But we need to see him more evolved. This is the biggest one I think people are having an issue with right now. Quentin Johnston, 3 targets for 1 reception and 18 yards. A lot of people pointing out that Quentin Johnston's not living up to the hype. A lot of people pointing out that Quentin Johnston is a waste of a first-round pick. A lot of people pointing out that we should have gone for Zay Flowers or another player at the same position that had a lot of higher upside, yada, 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 yada. I agree a little bit. I agree that I am a bit underwhelmed with what QJ has been offering in the first 3 weeks. I think in contrast to what I'm seeing other rookie receivers provide for their team. That's what I'll say. I would like to see more Quentin Johnston involved in this team as a weapon for Justin Herbert, but more specifically, plays designed around him. I want Kellen Moore to really unlock that version of QJ because, again, without Mike Williams, we need to shift. We need to find that new weapon. Quentin Johnston should be that guy. Right now, it feels like Darius Davis is more that guy. That's not a bad thing. It tells me that Darius Davis is going to be a weapon for this team going forward, but Quentin Johnston, first-round capital, we need to get him more involved. Do I think he's going to be a bust? Absolutely not. I don't have that opinion yet. No, absolutely not. I think Quentin Johnston deserves our patience. I think Quentin Johnston has a lot of upside. I think Quentin Johnston was drafted in the first round for a reason, and a lot of teams would have been happy taking him in front of us, if they had the opportunity, even behind us, if they had the opportunity. We're not giving up on Quentin Johnston yet. But through the bye week, my homework for Kellen Moore is to get more plays and more things designed around Quentin Johnston to get him more involved. Because flat out, we're going to need him this season. Without Mike Williams, the Chargers need Quentin Johnston. He's got to step into a role and start producing. He's got to step into a role and start contributing to this offense. It's time for Quentin Johnston to live up in some way, shape, or form to why we drafted him in the first round. I think he's got him in him. And I think, again, during the bye week, we're going to find some method. We're going to find some answer to that. The Chargers will be feeling a lot better. But right now, this, what I'm looking at, 77 yards, that's fine. But that one of it came off of 51 yards. 32, 18, 16, that's not good enough for me. We need to find a way to move the ball vertically a little bit more efficiently because in the end, the Chargers are a passing team, and we need the weapons to step into those roles appropriately. Keenan's the unquestioned one. He's going to have great success. We all know that. But these other guys, QJ and Palmer, they're going to have to find their role in the offense. They're going to have to execute on it. I like that a lot. Outside of that, Donald Palmer, we hope he's okay. I think he may have an issue with his wrist. The running backs had a great day today, too. I don't have the total in front of me, but 65 for Kelly, 51 for Davis, 27 for Herbert, and 12. I think Spiller being the one outlier where I was like, not too great about that. Chargers had a really good run game today as well. So all in all, I think the Chargers in this victory, the biggest things that I'm taking away are the Chargers, no matter what, had to walk out of this game 2-2. To keep the season on track, to keep the momentum, to go into the bye week on a high note, you had to take down the Vegas Raiders, who were without their quarterback, who were without a lot of their talent, to be honest. And honestly, again, a division matchup, it's always going to be very important. Now you guys, you're buying yourself time to get healthy in that bye week. Come out with a new game plan past the Mike Williams. Hopefully, with the Justin Herbert, and figure out how we're going to tackle the rest of this very difficult schedule. You got the Dallas Cowboys coming up. You got the Kansas City Chiefs. You got a lot of big boy teams coming up in the fold, and you got to make sure you're prepared for them. So the Chargers getting very lucky at their Week 5 bye. They pulled it together at the end. They found themselves a victory here, going 2-2 into that bye. We got some momentum. Let's build off of it. Let's create an identity on offense. Let's get Quentin Johnston involved. Let's get Kellen Moore nice and comfortable, give him those weapons that he needs. Let's get that defense a little bit cleaned up. I feel like we've seen some good performances, but Brandon Staley still needs to work on that decision-making. I think we're going to be good to go. Most importantly, we got time for this team to get healthy. All right. I'm going to kind of skim through the chat here a little bit, see what you guys say. Quentin Jammer Johnson, let's go. Did I say Jammer? I meant Johnston, right? Quentin Jammer, Legend Charger, right? Side note, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, you guys are in here. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me This has been the Director. Super fun time here on Bleacher Report. If you guys want to catch us again, I'll let you guys know on Twitter and stuff when we're doing more of these, but it's been a really good time. Thank you everybody for joining me on the live stream on the YouTube. Appreciate you guys. If you want more content from me, make sure to hit the follow button here on Bleacher Report. And again, congratulations to the Chargers. They hang on, they win. They're going into the bye week, I think, in a very, very, very good position. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been the Director. If you like what you saw here, hit us up with that follow. Until next time, bolt up and stay frosty. Big love to the Bull fan, baby. Big love.